So should you buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max this year, or should you wait for the iPhone 18 Pro Max? That's what I'm going to talk about in this episode here. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. And I've had the iPhone 17 Pro Max for over a month now, and we're actually headed into the second month of me actually using this phone as my primary. But some people already have made their decision. Nope, not this year for me. I'll wait till next year. I'm hearing that, and I'm also hearing I'll wait for the Apple foldable device that has been rumored. It's crazy. The phone's only out a month and we're already talking about next year, but that's just how it rolls in the tech game. Let's talk about the people who should actually honestly upgrade to the 17 Pro Max. We already did some comparisons and we still got more to do. But the very first one is going to be the ready upgrader. So who is this? Well, this is somebody who has an iPhone 12 and older, or even, maybe a 13, honestly, and you're just ready. You want a big jump now. You don't want to wait. Whether you get a 17 Pro or a 17 Pro Max, the time is now. Like John Cena, the time is now. So yeah, if you've been ready, I don't think you're going to be disappointed whatsoever. The next person who should just buy the 17 Pro Max at this point is the content creator or power user. Why? Because the content creator, such as myself, will have, just dropped it. A little bit smooth, but it's okay. I bet you everybody's like, did it scratch? Did it scratch? This phone scratches so easy. Nope, didn't scratch. And by the way, that's dirt. That's not a scratch. Let me go ahead and wipe that off just to prove that. Okay, we're going to need a little bit of spray. All right, we got some cleaner. And there you go. Just a little bit of dirt. But yeah, anyway, the content creator, definitely will benefit from this. Why? Because the cameras are all super consistent now. 48 megapixel across the board. People who like to use a strong front-facing camera for selfie videos and things of that sort, also very strong. And the microphones are great with the ability to change the audio in post. So definitely, this is a super great phone for a content creator. Also, you do have yourself the ultra wide. You do have yourself many different lens options, including 4X, 8X, and video options everywhere, at least the ones you're going to use the majority of the time. Also, having this big screen makes it an excellent choice for doing video editing and stuff of that sort. Same has been true for prior Max phones, but this one is just better than ever in the camera, and I feel like a broken record player saying this every year, but the truth is the 17 Pro Max actually is one of the best cameras they've ever done because it's been a while since they upgraded that front-facing camera. It's about time they did that, and they did it this year. So that's very good. And having an ultra-wide is something I don't see on most other phones. So this actually makes Apple kind of stand out this year when it comes to the front-facing camera. The rear cameras also, they've always been doing like one camera's 48 megapixel, maybe two, but not all three. This year, it's all three of them. So this is surely a content creator dream phone right here. So if you're doing content creation, you don't need to wait a whole year to get the 18 Pro Max just to get those needs met. You can do that now. Also, the next one is the gaming performance, or for the people who are gaming users, power users also. Gaming is really good on here, and it does have really good heat dissipation. Even compared to some of the top Android phones out there, it still does better than some of those as well. And that's funny because a lot of the previous versions, while they did feel more premium than the aluminum build of the 17 Pro Max, they don't dissipate heat more. So that's the trade-off with this, this aluminum design. But for sure, a power user is going to love this phone as well. The 12 gigabytes of RAM also boosts this phone to that level of being a device that I would definitely recommend. You don't need to wait if you're a power user. It does have a 3nm A19 Pro chipset, and it's clocked in at 4.25 gigahertz with 11.4 gigs of RAM. Now, some of the Android competition has actually surpassed Apple, and they're continuing to do so with these upcoming 8 Elite chipsets. The newer version that just came out should be launching on some new Android phones coming soon. Those are probably going to be a little bit faster if we look at benchmarks, but we're talking about iPhones here, and this one is surely an upgrade for a power user. The third person who should just buy the 17 Pro Max right now is the practical buyer. Who's this? Well, it's somebody who doesn't want to wait a year for small changes. So you're looking for practicality, functionality, and you want it all in one package, and you're not willing to wait a year just for some tiny changes. This is all you right here. You're going to be pretty happy. Some people say, well, they're not going to be tiny. They're going to make the dynamic island smaller and stuff of that sort. They're also going to potentially bring a 2 nanometer chipset and maybe even an Apple modem on board. But these are potentially tiny changes to the practical user who just needs their phone to function and function well. And if they have an old device and they're coming to this one, it's time for sure. Now, number 4 is the deal hunter. Are you looking for carrier promos, trade-in offers? Well, Black Friday is coming up soon and also the holiday season. So carriers are likely to throw in some promos, some deals. They don't usually discount the retail price. So you're at Apple Store, so you're going to pay the full price in most regular outlets, but you could look around for some deals with carriers. They potentially will be doing some decent options here. The 5th person who should just buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max right now is the battery lovers. I've been loving it. I'm one of those people because the battery on this phone has been superb. No matter what I'm doing, this thing easily lasts all day and I never think twice about it. You could say, well, Nick, bro, my older 14 Pro Max, my 15 Pro Max, my 16 Pro, they all last. Yes, I get it. I'm not saying that your previous phone does not last. What I'm saying is this one lasts longer. And you could say, well, that's common sense. Every year they're going to have a better battery. But the reason this one lasts longer is because it has a substantially larger battery, especially on the US model, eSIM only model. They extended the actual battery capacity. So it's over 5,000, a first for iPhone. And this thing makes this thing last as long as what I remember the iPhone 13 Pro Max lasting. So a lot of people call the 13 Pro Max a legendary, iconic iPhone. And the truth is this one is on its way to do that as well when it comes to the battery life. However, I do feel like the design is going to make it not quite as popular as what the 13 Pro Max was, because that was pretty universally accepted as a nice design. But there's a last person I think that should just go ahead and pick this up, and that is the pro camera lover. We talked a bit about content creators, but if you just want pro level systems, this one is really strong. They also moved the LiDAR and flash over here. But if you do pro photography, having that triple consistency is really nice on board, and the ability to do raw photos and things of that sort. Island up there, maybe not be your favorite if you think it kind of looks like a Pixel device over there, but if you do enjoy pure raw photography and just really, really strong photo, this is going to be definitely the one to go with. So let's go to camera here, and you'll see if we scroll down to formats, you can see mostly these right here, the Pro RAW format with the JPEG lossless, as well as Apple ProRes. Now, you know what this is. If you do photography and videography, you know what this stuff is going to bring you. It does bring a little bit more post-production work, but at the same time, you know, it's good to go if you're a pro user. Probably a small majority of the audience is that, so I'm not going to talk too long about that. But let's talk about who should get the 18 Pro Max, and you're probably going to want to know who should just skip this one. Let's talk about those buyers right here. All right, guys, so let's just get this thing out of the way first before we continue to talk about the 18 Pro Max, who should buy it. This phone design is not going to change in 1 year. You're probably going to see the exact same rear of the device. It's going to have different color options, of course. That's pretty expected. And one of the main things, though, that you will see a bit different is going to be the dynamic island. And I had a comment the other day. Someone was talking about no dynamic island changes, no deal for me, as if the dynamic island is the only thing that matters. But for some people, they look at the phone on the front and they think that thing right there, if that doesn't get reduced, the phone looks the same. I don't think it looks the same because those phones have thicker bezels, some of the previous ones with dynamic island, and they're smaller displays, unless if you got the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But the very first person who should just wait it out and just skip this phone altogether is going to be the latest and greatest chaser. Somebody who always wants the latest and greatest Apple tech. And while this is currently that, the latest and greatest chaser likely is reading about these rumors and things that are coming up, and they know in the back of their mind, next year they're going to launch a foldable, next year they're going to reduce the screen, maybe in a couple of years they're going to have an all screen, maybe a few years later they're going to have a, you know, all glass screen. You likely know this already. And so that's for you. Just skip this one altogether. The smaller dynamic island will change the feel a bit, but honestly, the dynamic island is up at the top of the screen on the 16 and 17 Pro Max, so you still have a glorious display here. I don't think it's going to change much of what you use on a practical day-to-day basis. Okay, so the next one is going to be the A20 chipset. Now, the A20 Pro chipset is going to come next year, obviously, to replace the A19 Pro, and it's likely going to be a different design nanometer. So probably 2 nanometer. It might be one of the world's first to do that. So, it's definitely going to be very strong. And mostly what that's going to support is the upgrades to Apple Intelligence. And hopefully they combine some better AI features with that upcoming chipset. But it'll also substantially improve other capabilities in the phone. The next person who's going to really like this is if you like an all Apple like device. They're getting closer to that because likely they're going to replace that Qualcomm modem in here next year with one of their own modems. This can improve the efficiency and maybe even give you better battery life, as Apple's going to have tighter control over the device. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. There's also rumors circulating that the 18 Pro Max will be changing the actual sensor types next year. Now, if you didn't know this, Apple's been using pretty similar sensors over the years, just kind of upping the megapixels and refining them a bit, but they actually might use a totally different sensor, rumored to be by Samsung next year. So we'll see if they go with that. That could actually extend their lead in the camera department, as Samsung has been putting out some pretty good camera phones, especially on their Ultra series. So we'll see what happens next year with the iPhone over here, if it might get a whole new sensor design and stuff of that sort. Also, there might be an improved camera control button. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier to use, a little bit better improvements, but I definitely think that the 18 Pro Max is a worthy wait if those areas matter to you. There's the type of person also who should wait for the 18 Pro or the 18 Pro Max, and that is the patient upgrader, which is a lot of people I've seen in the comments. Your current phone runs fine, and you're like, this is what I read pretty much every day. Thanks, but no thanks. Thanks for the video, but no thanks. No thanks on the phone. And if you feel that way, likely your phone is doing just fine. There's no rush. If you're that person, of course, wait. The third person is going to be the smart investor. Now, you might be saying, Nick, bro, come on. Nobody's investing in the phones are not investments. I understand. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you're going to be preferring to skip the first year of a new design change. So this is similar in the car game as well. Most people know that if you buy a car in its first model year, it definitely could have more potential issues as the things haven't been ironed out. Now, this phone, fortunately, doesn't really have any major issues, as they kind of like, it's kind of it's not really a full redesign over the 16 Pro Max. It's more of a outside changes a little bit with, most of the same similarities across the board. So they just kind of changed the external shell on this phone, but it's basically a lot of similar things that we've seen on the 16 Pro Max. But it's still a first time go for this, and you did see some chipping and scratching, and they're probably going to fix that as well. People tend to look out for that, and some people have even showed videos of the orange iPhone 17 Pro Max turning into this like rose gold looking color. So that hasn't happened to me, luckily, but for those of you out there who prefer to skip first year redesigns, this one's an easy skip for you. And number 4 is the future-proof buyer. You can always say that the latest phone is future-proof, but in the phone game, once the latest one is out, they're already working on the next one. So if you're looking for the major leaps, like a new camera tech and maybe even a new display tech, we talked about it with the dynamic island change, then this one is going to be an easy skip this year for you. And that's why the dynamic island does have some merit, because the dynamic island, once they reduce this, your phone on the front, which is what you look at all the time, is going to look like last gen once they do get rid of dynamic island or reduce it down in size. Kind of like when they made the notch smaller on the iPhone 13 Pro Max versus the 12 Pro Max. It's pretty obvious who had the newer phone. Same thing when they switched to dynamic island. The future-proof buyer is looking for that, and for them, it's a total skip. So those are the people who should wait for the iPhone 18 Pro Max. So I hope this video you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, and let me know your thoughts about the 17 Pro Series Pro Max. Are you going to go ahead and wait it out on the 18 Pro Max? Have you already made your decision to skip this one out? Or are you still on the fence? You're like, maybe in a couple months I'll pick up one of these, but not at this moment. I want to know what you guys think about the future of the iPhone series. Are you waiting more for a foldable phone? Let's keep that chat going down below in the comments section of this video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the very next episode. Have a great weekend. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.